All right, we're here with Rob Zombie. How are you doing today, Rob?
I am all right.
Ready for your show in Modesto here?
I am ready. I'm bored, and I need something to do.
All right. Hey, I saw you mentioning Herb Trimp and Hulk comics on I think Twitter feed the other day. Was that a favorite of yours growing up?
Yeah, no, it was really fun. I was at the Golden Gods Awards, and I was sitting with Sebastian Bach.
Uh-huh.
I didn't realize he was such a comic book fanatic. I mean, fanatic.
Uh-huh.
And he was the one who kept bringing up Herb Trimp for some reason. He was obsessed with him. And he was like, just kept screaming Herb Trimp at me. It was pretty funny. Yeah, no, I mean, my favorites back then was Gene Colan, I think, was my favorite.
Oh, yeah,
when I was a kid, probably. Because I was really into Howard the Duck.
Okay, so all the whole Man Thing, Steve Gerber stuff and all that?
You know, like Frank Bruner and who else was great? John Buscema and Jack Kirby, you know. There's a lot of good guys back then.
Can you remember the first comic book you got when you were a kid?
I don't remember the number. It was a Fantastic Four, and my memory's getting vague, but if I flip through my comics, I know I still have it. I would go, oh, that's the one.
Yeah.
But I can't remember what issue it was. I remember the cover price was 25 cents, though, so it was that era.
So what were some of the movies that, when you were a kid growing up, really scared the hell out of you that you look forward to seeing?
You know, it's weird. Like, there was so few movies that really seemed scary as a kid, or everything seemed scary, maybe, I don't know, but really the thing that always was the freakiest, because, I mean, as a little kid, you know, I didn't really go to the movies. I mean,
right.
I remember the first movie I ever saw in the theater was Willy Wonka, and the whole Slugworth thing, that seemed scary.
Yeah.
But before that, I was like watching Wizard of Oz on TV, and The Witch, and the Flying Monkeys, of course. That was terrifying. But then, there wasn't a lot of stuff like that. I'm trying to think as far as other stuff that seemed scary as a kid. It wasn't until like a little later, like when I went to see Jaws.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I was 75, so what was I? Don't know, it was fourth grade. That was
pretty terrifying. Yeah,
horrible.
Sure.
That messed me up.
So you got what can you tell us about Lords of Salem, or can you say much about that yet at this point?
I can only say so much because we're at the point the movie's at. But we before I came here, I was in Hollywood, hanging out with Wayne Toth at his shop, and they're doing a lot of work already because we had to give them a long lead time. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of effects, like practical effects, a lot of like things they have to build and sculpt and make, so they need a 6-month lead time on the rest of it. I don't know. It's going to be a very different, as it's planned. You know, you never know how your plans are going to go, but as it's planned, it's very different. You know, all my other movies are very sort of like physically violent, in your face type things. This one's a little more like a slow, methodical. You know, it's like The Tenant or something. You know, type of, like I said, as we say now, who knows how it's going to go. That's type. You know, like The Shining. It's sort of the slowness of it that sucks you in until you feel like you're there. That's what I remember as a kid when I went to see The Shining. You know, by the end of the movie, you feel like you've been in the Overlook the entire time. Sure.
And
you know, you don't get that a lot with movies because sometimes they feel so movie-ish now, like you're watching it. But the Kubrick stuff always made you feel like you were somehow trapped in that environment.
Right. You know, a lot of the scary movies lately, they scare you a lot while you're watching them, and then it just seems like when they're over, you know, it was more of a amusement park ride type scares.
Yeah, they don't really have. I'm not really like, I never know what scary means sometimes. Like, to me, like I remember when Devil's Rejects came out, everyone was like, "Man, it wasn't scary," but I can't stop thinking about it.
Yeah,
really, I can't. I've been thinking about it for weeks. I can't. To me, that's better because it's like Clockwork Orange wasn't scary, but I couldn't stop thinking about it after I saw it forever, for literally forever. Still. And that's more what I like, because a lot of movies are maybe scary, but as soon as it's over, you feel like, I really never need to see that again. Because there's no extra feature to it. Or I think sometimes people equate, the studios do, I think anyway, like people jumping as being scared.
Right.
When they're not really scared. They're just startled because something loud just took place, or, you know.
Cat jumped out of the closet.
Yeah, I mean, that's a cheap scare, and it's not even really a scare, it's just a startling moment. So yeah, I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah.
I think audiences have the patience for it because I think that was the paranormal films kind of proved that.
Sure.
That people will sit there and watch literally nothing happen for 2 hours, but then they'll be like, "I'm so terrified, I can't move," and I'm like,
exactly.
Well, nothing just happened, but so yeah, it works out.
So when you're looking at a movie like that with a blank slate for the most part with the cast right now, how do you go about the whole wish list? I mean, you obviously put some people that you admire and grew up with really loving in your movies, and a lot of great cult stars. I mean, how do you look at sort of building that cast for the film?
That's kind of what I do. I mean, I kind of think of people that I like, and the people that I'm, I mean, that's really all I do. Like, who do I like?
Sure.
Because people go like, well, this person's really hot. And I go, I don't even know who that is. That means nothing to me,
Right.
Because I'll get really excited about working with people that I've always been a fan of, even if I'm a fan because of a movie no one's ever heard of.
Right.
That's all that matters to me. So, and I like having, I mean, right now we haven't cast anybody because I'm trying to reach a little further and see if we can, I mean, I have a great group of actors that I like to work with, but I always want to be adding more people to the mix. And, this movie's different too, so there's certain people that aren't appropriate.
Right.
Necessarily. Not that I don't like them, because I'm going to get phone calls from anyone who's not in the movie. Like, what's the matter? You don't like me anymore?
Sid Haig's going to ring you up before you know it, right?
Yeah. Danny Trejo's going to strong arm his way into the film. So yeah, no, I'm still at that point. I'm still trying to figure that out.
So how do you balance? I mean, you've got so many creative outlets. I mean, you've got a time where you're working on your music, and then the movies, and then comics, and all that. I mean, is it just sort of whatever's burning in you at the moment, or how do you sort of balance all of those creative efforts in your life?
I try to. I mean, it's pretty scheduled out in a weird way, because it kind of has to be, which is kind of strange. Like, I know that we're doing this little warm up thing. Then we're going to go to Europe. Then I have like 2 weeks off. Then I'm going to do a U.S. Canadian run with Slayer. And then I know we're done touring for a while, because then I go right into production on Lords of Salem, and that's going to take me till, I mean, that'll be a year of just that.
Sure.
Because when I'm doing a movie, I won't do anything else. I won't even think about anything else. But like when I'm on tour, like when we're done with this, I'll go back and mess around with the script, and I can make phone calls and do things.
Sure.
And if I mean, not in a, like once you're in full production, you can't do anything. And sometimes they clash. Like sometimes I'll get an email from the people that are doing the comic, like, we really need the script for the next issue, and I'm like, why did I ever start that project?
Right.
So yeah, it's kind of like that.
So with your most recent album, Hellbilly Deluxe 2, you really added a lot of fun songs to the stable there. What are some of the best ones you like singing in concert here?
It's weird. We always we really struggle with that now, because I mean, I like really lo-fi music sometimes, so I like playing songs like What and Werewolf Woman that just sort of sound like trashy garage rock, and sometimes I think, I just wish this is what we played all the time. Because what's great about it is it sounds exactly the same live as it does on the record, because we basically just record it live.
Sure.
Whereas the other songs get a little more produced. But the problem is, and I saw this last night, is we did a chunk of old White Zombie songs last night that I hadn't played in since 1995. I saw a lot of the older guys get really happy, and a lot of the young kids like, what's this? And then you play a song off the new record, and all the little kids like, yes! So, you're really trying to balance between, guys that are staring down 50 and kids that are 12. It's a really weird mix. Well, tonight, no one will be under 21, but still. It seems like
do you find it odd being relatively young still in the music scene, but now having multiple generations of fans like that, or?
It's pretty weird sometimes. I mean, it's great. I mean, it's really great, because what I like about it is it doesn't seem like an oldies thing to me yet.
Right.
Because I think because of the type of music we do in the scene, it's a slightly ageless in a weird sort of way. The way I always refer to someone like Tim Burton, Tim Burton is fairly old for a director.
Sure.
Like if he was just a normal director, they would put that guy out. They would say he's too old, but since he's kooky and weird, he remains sort of ageless. I mean, obviously he's like an A-level director, but still, even sometimes, once people hit that age, but it seems like when things are weird, people go, it's fine,
Yeah.
People will always be into it.
Speaking of Tim, do you have any great memories working on the Pee Wee's Playhouse show there? And what exactly did you do on the show?
I didn't get to do stuff that was that fun. It was, well, it was really weird. It was the place that I worked at was a commercial production house.
Okay.
And they just did TV commercials, but this was the 80s.
Okay.
So they were known for doing like they would do Twizzlers commercials, but they were all funky and new wavy. So I think that's why they thought, those guys are funky, let's get them. But I remember when they got the Pee Wee job, it seemed like nobody really knew that much about Pee Wee Herman. I seemed to be the only guy who was into Pee Wee. And I actually they sent me to a video store to go rent, Pee-wee's Big Adventure because they weren't even that familiar with it.
Sure, sure.
But my best memory of Pee-wee is he had that who was that? He had that artist Gary Panter and Mark Merrick.
Yeah.
And they both looked like Pee Wee Herman basically. They had the short spiky hair and not spiky. Yeah, but they had that
similar
sort of
look
cool
about
nerd
it. Yeah,
look
yeah.
of the '80s.
Yeah.
And I remember like everybody was so excited. Pee Wee's coming. And Paul Rubens was coming for the first day. And they set up a band. He was going to step off the elevator into the animation studio. They were going to play Tequila, and everyone was all excited because it was like all the animators who put their band together, and there was a big moment. He steps off the elevator, but he had his mugshot look going. He had really long hair and a beard, but he stepped off the elevator like Gary Panter, and there was that weird moment like, which guy's Pee Wee? And I knew which guy he was. Like it was very obvious. And he took one look at the band, kind of rolled his eyes, and walked into the meeting. And everyone was like, "Oh." I don't know. They thought he was going to do the big shoe dance or something, but that's what I always remember. But it was kind of cool because at that point, it's like, like Phil Hartman was on the show and William Marshall, and there was like a lot of cool people that were always around. That Larry Fishburne, who was like all those people that weren't big yet.
Yeah,
so it was kind of cool.
So have you, with all the shows like Glee and all the song competition kind of shows, have you been approached at all to have any of your songs used for anything like that at all?
I don't think that'll probably ever happen. I don't think it's Glee. I don't understand Glee. Do you understand Glee? I don't understand it.
When my kids are watching it, I get it. I mean, it's making a lot of songs really accessible and
I mean, it's fine.
But
theater kids need love too. But my mom loves it. I don't know. I mean, people love it. But I tried watching it once because they were doing the Rocky Horror one. I go, okay, this one I'll watch, see what happens. It just infuriated me.
Yeah, I think they changed the lyric of Transsexual Transylvania to Fantastic Transylvania or something like that.
Yeah.
Keep it pretty safe there.
Yeah, it was pretty silly.
Great. Well, it was really great talking with you, Rob, and best of luck to you on your tour and your movie. Thank you so much.
Right on.
Thanks.